Okay. Okay. The mitzvah. Chomesh Shloshim 35. Ish is hirmu mihios chover. Ibn Tibet's translation is a little misleading because you get the impression it's a state of being, mihios chover. And Kapach translates it as milach bo, in the from the we are enjoined from the infinitive of chover, and it's closer to the proper translation of the original Arabic. And what the kavana is to do the maisa of chover, and not to be in the state of chover. And we'll have to see what the maisa is and what it is. But and the idea that there's a state is a little bit strange, and we don't understand where it would come from. Okay, so we don't know 100% what we're talking about, but there's a lav of chayver in the Torah. V'hu sheyoyma ma'amorim. Kappa translates dvorim, and he should say things or phrases or something. Ma'amorim. Yachshoiv shehem yo'ilu mikach, and he thinks that these phrases help in some way for something that will help Mr. X or something to yo'ilu mikach, that the yaziko lekach, we'll see that it's moil, and some incantations, let's call them, help, and some harm. Okay. And the reason why I call it incantations is because they have no, and we'll see as we go along, they have no meaning in language that we know. A priori, the gibberish. And however, the chover believes that they help or they're mazik, depending upon the incantation. But this is only the way he looks at it. It's a dimion. It's the way in his imagination and his delusion that they help. As we'll see the expression b'sichlusai she'ison hadivori mo'ilim, and we'll see in Rambam, Emes Hashem, soon. And however, there's no basis of this in reality that we know. The Rambam, you see this in Perigid Aleph, because of the Zohar Alocha Yud. Ezeo chover chover. Ze shemedabe b'dvorim she'enon loshon am ve'ein lohem inyan. There's no the language that he's speaking is is not decipherable. No one can understand it. It's not a language that people speak. And he thinks with his stupidity, umale al daita b'sichlusai she'isad vo mo'ilen. Ad shehein oimrim she'oime kach v'kach al hanochosh or al akrov eino mazik. If you say these incantations on some type of serpent or snake or something or scorpion, the scorpion will not be mazik. And you say an incantation on a person, the person will not be harmed by the scorpion or the snake. So it's an incantation to protect or to cause harm, that something will be harmed, okay? That's what he says. Next, that's a combination. Here, he doesn't say mamorim or dvorim, and that's the yachshov, that's b'sichlusai, that was the Ram Mishnah Torah. Okay, yoyilu mikach v'yaziku lekach. Kapach translates it as shemedame sheim mo'ili b'nei kach u'mazikin lekach. That's the same thing. They help that something won't attack them or whatever, whichever way you want to look at it. We shine him. I'm not saying the Rambam is Mechlolom, but we Rishonim seem to assume that Chover is something to do with Kishu. And I'll show you some of them. Rashi in Sanhedrin, Samchet Omer Aleph, Divrei Maskil Meshane, says the following. B'maktir u'meshane, b'maktir u'meshane b'maktir l'chover. Eino maktir l'shem Elohus. He's not maktir to that he's serving a deity. El ayidei haktorah nase hamechashvois lechaber ashedim lekan. What the haktorah does is a magical formula to bring the shadim in this place. So it's clear according to Rashi that Chover is something to do with magic. Rashi in Yeshaya in Perek Mem Zayin Posuk Tes through Mas Chavaraich Loshon Kshofim Kmo B'Chover Chover. So Rashi says the etzem Loshon B'Chover is a Loshon Kshofim. And the Radak also there in Yeshaya Min V'Chover Chover V'Oyin Kshofim. And the Ramban also, he says in Dvorim, Perek Mem Ches, excuse me, Perek Yud Ches, Posik Tes, V'Hiskim Mechashev Shem Klal l'chol akshofen. V'choy v'chover v'shel over yed'oini hein plotim b'kishuv. There's a type of kishuv, very clear. L'chera, if you assume like that, we pointed out, I think last time, that the Ramban learns that Toeva is only going on those things that are not telling the future, but something like Kishuv that's Machish Pamar Shamaya, Lamayl Shamaya. And however, telling the future, he says everyone is Mis'ave Lekach, and there's no Toeva in it. So here there would be Toeva. So the Chayra is a very different approach to the Rambam, because the Rishonim in general are of the opinion that there is a relationship. Kishuv has some place in realia. It's just machish pamar shamalia. But what they do is real. According to the Ram, it's only a dimion. Therefore, one can imagine that if through Chay v'chover you do tzeda, you can imagine you chayiv on Shabbos with tzeda. And that's what Rashi says in Sanhedrin, that even with a Havamina that saw derech Chay v'chover is b'char melech seder, and you might be chayiv. Kamash Malon, no. Rashi Sanhedrin Kofal from an Aleph to be a master Veloichin al Nechoshim ve'al Akravim b'Shabbos. What's the problem b'Shabbos? What's the difference Shabbos and Chol? So Rashi says b'shvil shelo yaziku v'ein bekach mishum tzeda. Now, so we discussed to this moment what the definition of Chay v'chover according to the Rambam. It's incantations to prevent a hezek or to cause a hezek. And it's only dimyon. We pointed out, according to Rishonim, it's very much tied into Kishuv. And it's reality, it's not a dimyon, and therefore there's a chiddush ein bekach mishum seder, and a dimyon of seder can't talk about it either. The behem is caught or not caught. It's a dimyon. The behem is caught is nothing. Now, this issue, we'll see later, Mir Hashem, soon, that the Orishain of a different definition of what Chay v'chover is, besides that it's Kishu. But there's a Gemara in Psachim that clearly is mashma that there is realia in Chay v'chover, because the Gemara in Psachim, you know, Beis, a very strange sugya. Kika b'fi nochosh is a kika in the mouth of a nochosh, and it went into the wall, into a hole in the wall or something like that. So the Gemara asks, so chover loitzi or ain't so? Do you have to bring a chover to come and take the snake out of the wall? It's an amazing question. But whatever the question is, if the chover is not a mitzias and the kika remains in the wall, it's absolutely ridiculous to imagine you bringing a chover to take it out of the wall. Hika befi nochosh, so chover lohitzil ein so. Begufe atuchu rabbonon, b'mone lo yatuchu rabbonon. The rabbonon won't matriach him to pay money that the chover should come and do it. But if he physically can do it, then he should do it. Or do malashno. And the more answers tekel. So the interesting thing is, it's the chadimian, and with Sichlusay, nothing's going on over here. Over Beinisham, the Ram quotes this Gemara. And it was Chametz Matzah. The Rambam in Perek Beis was Chametz Matzah. Halacha Yegimel. Nochosh shenichnas. Nochosh shenichnas l'cho. Ufpas bepiv. Eino chayiv lohavi chover lohitziyot. The other Rishonim we'll see later that chover is a loshen, is the chover is ma'asif, and that's we'll understand seder. So Rashi of seder, and the chover, the nochash going into the wall in the hole. The only thing that makes sense, you're making, the Chavi is going to say that he is mazik or not mazik. That's not lenient. No, we're interested in chometz. We're interested in bringing the nochash over here and taking the chometz out of his mouth to burn it or whatever we're going to do with it. So when the Ram says, Chayv lohavi chover lohitziyoi, l'chayr, even according to the Rambam, l'chayr, it has to be a sifa. L'chayr, according to the Rishonim, they say the lav of chayver is to be ma'asif within to be ma'asif. So the chayr it's a chover goy. You can't be a chover Yisrael. The Gemara can't have a havamina to violate a law in order to take the chometz. That's crazy. So the chayr it's a chover goy, and we paskin the goyim are not muzir, not in a kishu, but not in chover. And the Ram L'chayr is difficult. Chaver is a different chaver. What's chaver? What are we talking about? Let's continue. V'amrei Yisale lo yimotzei b'cho v'chulei choy v'chover, and that's the lav. V'loshet Sifri, what does he want? V'choy v'chover, echot choy v'es hanochosh, v'echot choy v'es ha'akro. Ploima, shiyoim aleim mamorim, v'lo yishchuhu, v'fi machshavtoi, they won't bite, or yoim al mekoimus shichoson, k'dei shiyanuach hakev. Either the incantation on the bite of the scorpion, that it won't hurt or go away or heal, or an incantation on the scorpion won't bite. So, l'chera, if the chover is a sifa of chayis der kishuf v'shedim, if you look at the Sifri, so it might be right to the Ram a little bit, they were only talking about a one nochosh or one akrav. So if it's one nochosh, one akrav, what are you trying to get it together? So the simple way, unless you say it's in the wall, you want to get it out and bring it over here. So the Rambam learned that the chover is just incantations that it shouldn't be mazik, or that on the or on the places that they bit, that the hurt, the pain should go away. That is the lashon of the Sifri, and also Teseftin Makis Sukamando Perikei al Chabov Echot Choyve Meruba Chaveru Echot Chove Muad Oive Bulei Sase Shev Choyve Chove Echot Choyve Esanochosh V'Esakrov. So it's one, the singular one. So what's the Choyve? It's incantations that should be mazik or not mazik. Now, this idea, Hoshiyim al Meklimis di Shichoson, Kedei Shianur HaKe'ev, is something new. It's after the Neshicha and that the cave should dissipate. The emissary is you find this in Rav Sadi Goin is Pirush al Torah. V'choy v'chova loichesh al mako o neshichas nochosh. What's o neshichas nochosh? L'chera, that is this case of the Rambam, that the neshichas nochosh, that the pain should subside. This idea that chover is isuf, bringing the Balei Chaim together, Rashi says it in two places, at least. Rashi, besides the Rashi that it should be a Shaila of Seder, Rashi in Sanhedrin, in Chumash, first of all, in Yud Ches, Dvorim Yud Ches Yud Aleph, the Remaskal V'choy V'chover, Shemetzaref Nechoshim O Akrobim, O Shar Chayis L'mokum Echad. They bring many Chayis, Nechoshim, whatever it is, to one place. That is Asifa. And that's the general Pshat in Rishonim, in Choy V'chover. You find it also in Rashi Sanhedrin, Samachayim Beis, the Ramaskal Vatera Omro, the Chi Amrinan Chi V'chovo Eino Ela Bashoro Ze HaMechaber Chayes Ubehemus Nechoshim V'Akrobim L'Mokon Echod Al Yedei L'Choshim. So everyone agrees that Chover is through l'choshim. But what do the incantations do? Do they bring the chayis together, as Rashi and most Rishonim say, and Kishuv, or it's incantations that the scorpion, the snake should not be mazik you, or if it bit already, that the pain should subside. Interesting. I'm not here to get involved in this, but you know, I would have written not Yanur HaKev, but push. Is it? I would assume that it also helps that the person, if it's venom or something like that, the person should not die. That's very interesting. The issue over here the Ram presents is Kev. And Tzadiga wouldn't know anything on the Shikas Nochosh. The Rambam has Yoilu Mikach, and he has two tzium of Yoilu Mikach. It should be Yoilu that it shouldn't be mazik. Yoilu that the kev should go in the shicha. The kev should go away. But Yaziku Lakach, that is incantations that the serpent is mazik, that we haven't found, at least here yet. In Mina Mitzvah, he doesn't discuss it. He only mentions it, but doesn't mention the case. Okay. Okay. Next. Ve'oiver alav ze Sefer Malchus. Is Chai Malchus? Okay. So here, the Chayra to the portrait Sefer Malchus if he does a Maisa. As the Ram says in Perigid Aleph, Halacha Yud, V'chayva atzmoi she'ochas biyodei klum. She'osa Maisa im diburoi afilu here bi'etzboyoi hari ze loike shenemo lo yimotze b'cho v'chayva chover. אבל אם אומר דבורים בלבד, ולא הניד, ולא אצבע, ולא ראש, ולא היה ביד כלום, he didn't do anything, didn't make any motion, וכן אדם שאומר החובר, פריסן הקורס, הוא יושב לפון המדמר, שיש לו מזה הנוע, מה כן עושה מקס מעלה, מפני שנשתתף בסיכלוס החובר. But he doesn't do a meisis, he's not Chai Malchus. Check that out. Look at the Gemara and see if it's there. Samach Zayin and Shabbos. Say that. Next. Bar mitzvah. You know, I didn't go into them. There are a few sugis in Sanhedrin. It's very confusing exactly how the Ram learns the Gemara, but it's very clear that's the way he interprets it. And it's very... Let's see. Yeah. See, for example, Chir Aleph, it's a little difficult to understand. Halach Yud Aleph in Perek Yud Aleph, Halach Yud Aleph, Yud Aleph, Misha Noshkla Akrov, Oy Nochosh, Mutter Lulchosh, Al Mokom Aneshicha. It's a Chiddush. L'chayra, that's Chayva Chova. Vafilu b'Shabbos. What's Vafilu b'Shabbos? You see, in the Gemara, the way that Rashi learns it, the Chayva Chover, he's trying to take care of the there shouldn't be a problem of Seder, and that's why Shabbos is picked out over here. But what's Mutter Luchayish al Mokom Aneshicha Vafilu b'Shabbos? Yashiv Daito el Chazik Liboy. So what happened to the lav? What's Pikuach Nefesh? Afa pi she'ein adova moya klum. Hoil u'mesuken hu. He says Pikuach Nefesh. Hitilu loy kedei shelo titov daito yolov. So what means that a person who's mesuken, there's a so what titov daito is Pikuach Nefesh. So what's it mesukan for? You don't know how the whole thing hangs together. We don't understand what Afilu b'Shabbos is. What? It's Refuah? It's Refuah? And that's the Chiddush. Truth is, you have to look at. I'm not getting involved. I'm just saying. I'm going to say a sentence, and you can do whatever you want. Okay. So what? It means it is dimyun. It's a fool. It's not more klum. It could have been a problem before. It's a chiddush. But the more important issue is refuah shlo ayidei samamonim. Is there an isa refuah shlo ayidei samamonim, or refuah is only ayidei samamonim, or applying something, or eating something, or applying something to the body, or drinking something. I think, remember, when we learned Shabbos, the Rav pointed out that in the problem of Ein Misamlin is a Machogas Rashi in the Rambam, whether there's an Isa Refuah Shelo Gederech Samamon. Okay, so, might help here. But, what can I say? It's a very, very interesting. Okay, say that. That Rambam is an amazing Rambam. HaMitzvos Sheish U'Shleishim, is like this. He shishilnu me sheol bal oiv shodienu dovo. They shouldn't let us know something. That's Ibn Tibin. In Kapach, l'sh'ol bal oiv u'melevakesh yediyah mimenu. Okay. To say that. So I don't think it's my place here now to go over Ov, which we discussed in the lav of Maisa Oiv, and whatever it is an Isa to be shoyel the Oiv. It's a lav. V'amu yis'aleh lo yimotzi b'cho v'chulei v'shoyel Oiv. The Rambam in Hilchos Avodah Zarah, Perek Yud Aleph Alocha Yudalid, also Lishol Bal Oiv, O Bal Yid'oni Shneim Lo Yimotzi B'chol Ma'avir, V'goymer, V'shoyel Oiv, V'yid'oni Nimsis Lomed, Shebal Oiv V'yid'oni Atzma B'skilo, V'anishal Bohen Ba'azora, U'makin Oisim Makis Madis, V'im Kivein Ma'aso, the Osa Kafi Mamoron, like if you act according to the instructions of the Baal Oiv, the Shoyel is Chayim Malchus. This is very interesting because the Maisa is not in the Sheila, the Maisa is in the repercussions of the Sheila, and that's enough to be Chiyuv Malchus, which is an amazing thing. You don't need a Maisa in the Maisa Avera. We'll talk about this in Mitzvah Hashem a little bit more about Richus. I'm not sure now or later, the next time, we'll see. But it's an amazing thing. The Isa is Shoyel Oiv Yadayni. And he's a Shoyel without a Dibor, which is not a Maisa. And then he does a Maisa because he acts in the way that the Baal Oiv told him to. That's called a Maisa to be Chayv Malchus. Now, next, the Gemara, the Talmud, assumes that Shoyel Oiv is Be'etzem Derish Alamesim, which we haven't learned a lot yet. And therefore, the Gemara asks the question that Shoyel Oiv and Derish Alamesim Mahainu Hach. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, Samachem Beis, Shoyel Oiv, Hainu v'Derish Alamesim, Derish Lamesim, Kedisanya v'chule. And I would assume that basically a state the Gemara that a Shoyel Oiv is a Derish Alamesim, and for some reason it's not, whatever. And that's the Gemara answers. But that's not really for us now. We're not studying at the moment Derish Alamesim. But whatever you see from this is that the Shoyel Oiv is a Derish Alamesim Batsim. So then it's a little odd that you would expect the Gemara that the Rambam should have said in Maisa Oiv, in Mishnah Torah, or by Shoel Oiv, that he's dealing with the mess. He doesn't say it. Interesting, however, he says it in Pirush HaMishnah. The Rambam Pirush Mishnayis Sanhedrin, the Rambam Pirush Mishnayis Sanhedrin, Perek Zayin Mishnah Zayin, Ubal Oiv Ho Omur B'Mikra Nase Basiyas Ma'asim V'yesh Boi Min Acher V'hu Sheloichen Gogoles Roish Odom Shekvar Dis Acher Me'oleh Aboso Umatznin Oiso Umaktirin Lo V'hoizen Bo V'shoyim Mimenu Dvorim. The moment I didn't say anything. The last line is important. Kederech sheshoyim min hames. Kederech sheshoyim min hames. B'maise bal oiv. So it means a bal oiv is a shmiyas min hames. Very clear. And that's what you would expected for the moment Sanhedrin, Samachem Beis. Shoel oiv. Hainu Dorish Ela Mason. Okay. See, here we have now basically two lavim. You have a lav of Shoel Baloi, and you have a lav HaMitzvos Sheva V'Shleishim Hi Shiz Hilnu Mish'ol Ba Yid'oni Shir Dienu Dovo. In Kapach, V'Lish'ol Ba Yid'oni Levakish Meno Yidiyah. Okay. V'Amo Yis'aleh Lo Yimotzi B'cho V'Shoyel Oiv Yid'oni. V'Lo Shesifro Al Tifnu Al Oives Al V'Yel Yid'onim. Oiv Ze Piso Medaber B'Shichyo V'Yid'oni HaMedaber B'Fiv. Hari Elu B'Skila. The Maisa Oiv B'Skila. The Piso Medaber B'Shichyo V'Yid'oni HaMedaber B'Fiv. Hari Elu B'Skila V'Anishal B'Hem B'Azhora. So the two lavim, we pointed out because of the issue of chiluk, and then everything in the pasuk is a separate lav. Because the Torah says in a different place, so it's two lavim because the Torah is mechalik them. So the question is, should one assume, and it's a very important issue, that Shoel Oiv Yid'oni are basically inyan echad, or the Shoel Oiv, that's the different thing, the Shoel Oiv and the Maisa Oiv, or the Shoel Yid'oni and the Maisa Yid'oni, l'cheira, should have been one Isa, because didn't we say, for example, that according to the Rambam, that the Kaisem and the Shoel B'Kaisem is all one Isa? And a person who Shoel B'Kaisem and acts according to it is Chayim Malkus. So Be'etzem, the thing itself, whatever it is, and the Shaila Ball, whatever magic, or whatever it does, is really one in Torah. So why over here is it two lav minion? So the answer is that since the Torah is machalik and has a separate lav, that even though it's one inyan, it's two separate averis. If it basically is the Torah has it many times, and you look. See, I'm just let me say it clearly. 1 second. If the Torah says, for example, many lavim in different languages, if it's one Indian, it's one lav. But l'cheira, even if it's one Indian, but if the Torah is machalik between them, that's the question how that happens. And the Torah is machalik and has one Isa for X and for Y a different Isa, then the chiddush is, even though it's only one Indian, it basically is one mitzvah minyan. However, you can be doicha, but since the Torah has separate inchim for the one lav and a different Inish for the other lav, even though it's an Inyan Echo, maybe that's the Machalik. And the Maisa Oiv is Skila, and the Shoel Ba'oiv is Azhara. So that's what you have to deal with. In other words, is there Raya over here that the chiluk itself is enough if it's an Inyan Echad or no? See, I would have told you or maybe, you see, maybe that's what let's even look at it like this. Maybe that's what the Gemara is asking. What's the Gemara asking? According to the Rambam, Rashi says something, but let's say according to the Rambam, when the Gemara asks the question, Sheil Oiv Hainu V'Derish Al HaMeisim. I just like to think about this still. I'm sorry, because the Gemara, how do we know that it's a separate lav? So what's the Gemara's question? Okay, I want to think about this a little more, Blineda. But whatever it is, a priori, the fact that the Torah is machalekit, again, the fact that Torah is machalekit, it's a separate lav. But the Gemara asks, how can we accept a lav? If it's two separate mices, but it's an Inyan Echad, so I can imagine Torah is machalik. But if basically is Hainu Hach, it's a Derish Al HaMeisim, so how can Torah machalik it? So that's the Gemara answers, and we'll see when we get the Derish Al HaMeisim between that. But then it's very important that if it's Inyan Echad and the Torah is machalik, then it's two separate lavim. However, if it's one mice, it's the same thing. The chiluk Torah is ridiculous. And maybe that's the most kasha. And Samachema basis on Hedron. Okay, next. See, you could also ask the same question where the Oiv and Yid'oni are basically Ian Echad, but it's separate Maisim, the Torah is Machalik, or Shoyel Oiv, or Shoyel Yid'oni, because the Oiv and Yid'oni are different. It's only because the Torah is Machalik, but it's a different Maisim. Because the Yid'oni is something and the Oiv is something else. But in Ian Echad, it's mini Avodah Zarah, as the Ram says, and it's one thing, maybe. So it's again an Indian mechiluk that the Torah is mechalek, even though it's an Indian echad. Okay. Okay. HaMitzvah Hashmona Ushleishim. He shes hilnu mishol sipur min hamesim. Here's a very important thing. What are we asking? We're asking for sipur min hamesim sheyodienu dovo, that, excuse me, sipur min hamesim. So what is that? In that's in Ibn Tibet. In Kapach, Dorsh Yediyah min hamesim. The mace tells us something we want to know. This will be important as we go on. In Pirush HaMishnah, the Rambam, here it says Stam Sipur, Stam Yediyah. In Pirush HaMishnah, the Rambam is very clear that the Dorish HaMesim, he wants to know the future. The Rambam Pirush Mishnah is Sanhedrin, Perek Zayin Mishnah Zayin, Shadorish HaMesim, V'chulei, V'hu shemis'ane v'lo bebeis hakvoros, v'lo yichesh l'choshim, v'roye b'shnosoi asidois to feed dimyoinam. We're talking about telling the future, but he. L'cheira in Ramban is cholik that it's not telling the future, or not only telling the future, because when the Ramban discusses those things which are toeva, not toeva, he says if it's telling the future, it's not toeva because kul misavim b'kach, and if it's something else, then it is toeva. And the Ramban only says that ma'oinen and menachesh are godas asidis and not toeva. That's the Ramban in Dvorim Yudches Tes. The Omar Akosu ki soavas Hashem kol oisei eile v'le Omar oisei kol eile ki akosu yedabe al rubom ki ha'ma'oinen v'amenachesh eino toeva v'lo hoirish hakananim ba'avurom ki kol b'nei Adam yisavu l'das asidois lomo u'misaskim b'chochmis rabois ka'elu l'das. So, in Pirush Mishnah is the issue of Dorish HaMesim is telling the future. However, here and in Mishnah Torah, we don't know that it's the future, B'davka, but it's giving over Yediyah. But it's asking something, having an answer, but it's not to do something for him. It's to give him Yediyahs. The Rambam in Hilchos Avodah Zarah, Perek Yud Aleph Alocha Yud Gimel, Ezel Dorish HaMesim Ze Amari V'Satzmoi V'Hoilech V'Lom B'Beis HaKforos K'dei Shioboi Meis B'Chaloim V'Yodiyoi Ma Sheshol Olav. He asks a question and he gets an answer. It's not dafka the future. And that's what I would assume over here, but it's not 100% clear over here. ויש אחרים שהם לא יבשים לבושים, ידועים והם דבר מקטירים, כתרס ידוע, וישנים לבדון, כדי שיובו מאספלוני ויספי עמו בחלוים. It's again, it's telling things. כלו שדובה, כל האיסר, כדי שיובו מאס ויודיעי, that the mace should tell him something, like it. שנאמר לו ימוצא בכל מעביר בדרש על המאס. And l'chayra, you would assume that the shoyl oiv, the maisa oiv, is also a demon a mace. We're not asking the mace to do something because the Gemara couldn't ask the question. Shoyl oiv, hainu derish ala mason. So the important thing from here, and this is really, a very important issue, that there's no, let's say, source, or there's no, let's say, the clarity in Rambam points that to ask the mace to be mispalo for you, or ask the mace to do something for you, that's not the Isa. The Isa is to ask the mace to tell me something. Or in the Ram Pirush Mishnah is clearly the future, and in Mishnah Torah and over here, maybe it's to tell him anything, whatever you did. However, the Achronim have a problem of asking the mace to mispalo for you. The Maharil in Minhogim, in Hilchos Tainis, v'amishtateach al kivrei hatzadikim mispalil al yosim migamosei neged hamesim hasheichun sham. He doesn't say why, but he shouldn't be mispalil neged hamesim. Doesn't even say what the problem of doing. The Chayodom in Hilchos Shabbos v'moadim klal kufla meches Sif Hey says the following: V'yiyeh nizer me'ed shel yosem megamosel ispalel ulevakesh min hamesim shekolav adova sheyeh b'chal v'derish al hamesim. I'm not sure what the kolav is and what it is. Maybe it is or it isn't. Ella yispal HaKadosh Baruch Hu she'aseh chesed b'schus tzadikim hamesim. L'chera, in Rambam, there's no basis for this at all, because the Isa is either a Yediyah or in a constricted form, Bakosh Min HaMeis. This discussion of Mispal, to go to the basic force, Mispal to the Mess, is the Maram Shik in Sanhedrin, Samachem Beis, to the Master Shomag Mok, the sign of Dorish Al HaMesim, discusses this Baruch. Mitzvah Hashem will pick up next week. This,